From a little girl, I had this flame that nobody could put out. And I have just always thought of that as hope.
I think it's important for people to have something that they can look at or they can associate with.
There's this sort of rhythm along with your life and what's going on, you know, and hope is such a changing thing. It isn't like you get it one time and you keep it.
You have to go to the edge to figure out what's in me, what can I do, and that's what you do.
They, of course, wanted to make the experience for the patient so much better, and hope, abundant hope, was part of their mission statement. They wanted somehow to have a visual to go with that. And someone went off and found this clip art of the maple tree and the ornaments, and they said, "Do you think you could sculpt us a plaque for the front door?" And they would put a poem about hope underneath it. And I said, "Sure, we could do that." But I said, hope isn't on the tree. It needs to be of the tree. It's a growing thing. I started just doodling, and then with just trees, and the question comes up, well, what tree is it? Big question. Kept thinking about that, and still doodling, and it's like, well, we need a tree that could be anything. It's like bonsai trees. You can make a bonsai from, I believe, any tree. And then I thought about the relationship to cancer, and it was like, well, that concept is perfect, because they're forced to find a way to survive. They're snipped here. They wanted to grow that way. No, you can't do that. You're snipped here. Let's make you go this way. You want to go this way and you can't. Your treatment limits this. By 2 in the morning, I was like, I have it. It's a bonsai tree. So within a day, I had the sketches of the initial bonsai tree. I wanted lots of rhythm, lots of motion in it. So there were parts of the trunk that came down and sort of clutched onto the rock. Very interesting. Still in my head, it was a relief sculpture. And I looked at pictures of the tree of life. And as soon as I saw that tree in the round, it was like, we have to be in the round. Everyone was so unbelievably generous. They'd been working on this building for years. And now I've come along and said, let's put a big old tree in your atrium, And they were so open-hearted about it. And everyone got the concept. Everyone understood why it was a bonsai and how it's a growing thing, and everyone was on board. The Cancer Center, everyone involved in it really wants everyone who walks in to feel that they have found a place where they are welcome. When we talk about the symbols, it was really important to me that they represent lots of different cultures, different parts of the world, different religions. The ones that are closest to my heart have to do with the ancient or the impossible. One of the most ancient symbols that's on the tree is the spiral. It is one of the oldest symbols that has been found everywhere on Earth from civilizations many thousands of years old. You wouldn't think that it would be so hard to draw a leaf. I spent hours looking at leaf research out in the yard and the neighbors looking for the leaf. And again, bonsais can be any tree, so really it could have been any leaf, and it wouldn't come to me. And one day, I left the studio. I'm walking through the trees to the house. Right in front of me is a beautiful bluebird feather. And as soon as I saw the feather, it was like, that's what it is. It's half leaf, half feather. And I went upstairs before I lost the idea and doodled and came very close to what the final leaf ended up being. About 2 weeks later, I was online and I'm typing in a certain website and I spell it wrong or something, and I end up in a poetry website. First poem that comes up, Emily Dickinson, "Hope is like a feather." And it just knocked me out. It was the confirmation that I needed. And you'll notice when you see on the tree, the leaves are not the way leaves grow, where they can absorb water and sun. You know, most of them are up. They're reaching for the stars, and as we all do when we're in need of hope.
There was no choice but to just go ahead, just to be fighting and not even look back, because I thought, this is really not a good thing, but it's not going to kill me. I really have always felt that in my soul, that, okay, I'm not going to die from this. This is not going to get me.
It's very deliberate that the orientation of the tree is that you really can't see what's on the other side. And it's meant to be representative of the cancer journey. We're trying to ease you into the reality of cancer. And then you come to this little, I call this my whoop-de-doo. That's the first sense that maybe something is wrong. And you realize there's a good chance that you might have cancer. This piece here, I didn't understand it for a long time. I had sculpted it, removed it, put it back. It just needed to be here. I knew it needed to be here. And this for me really is representative of that gasp, that sort of this can't be true feeling that we would have hearing that you likely have cancer. These symbols here, this is the Aboriginal symbol for pathway, and you're beginning on a path. You see the stone gets craggier. This symbol here, another Aboriginal symbol for journey. And your journey with cancer by now has begun. There are chasms in it as you go along. The chaos in this rock is really representative of that real world of you are in the cancer. You can look at this rock and you can see every wound. All of those complexities are honored here. You don't know how you're going to hang on. You don't know how you're going to make it. But you see it leads to this ledge, this higher ground. And I always intended this area of the tree above the rocks there to be this kind of, you need to stay above all that. And I kept kind of building it up, but I never built up the center. It was always this little cradle. Just one day, I walked out there one morning and I saw that cradled area, and it was like, there's a sleeping lamb there. The lamb for me really represents the patient. She looks so comfortable and at ease. And this really is my wish for the patients, that they can find this place. The best words I have to describe it are lyrics from a James Taylor song that just saved my life about 30 years ago, that says, "Tend your own fire, lay low and be strong. It'll all come around, it'll all come around."
There's something about this, just slowing down, just nurturing yourself, nurturing your life, and realizing what matters and what doesn't.
And a certain surrender is needed for that. Surrender has nothing to do with giving up, has nothing to do with weakness. I spent many years as an emergency room nurse and then as a rehab nurse, and I never forgot the patients who were terribly sick, terribly injured, had no business making it. And after a few years, you could pick out who was going to make it. And it was because they had this acceptance, they had this peace, they had this positive attitude. And then there'd be someone who had a little small thing, or a little small injury, or as strokes go, a little small stroke, or something that wasn't as serious, but they were so negative about it. Their perception of what had happened was that their life was ruined, not that it was changed. See, we're back to the bonsai tree. I knew this tree was going to have a big life. I could just feel it growing. The more we worked on it, my prayer every day was, stay out of the way. Just let me stay out of the way. And if I could keep myself and my ego out of the way and just make it 100% emotion, I knew that this tree was going to have a bigger life.
A lot of people are going to have that opportunity with the Hope Tree to find a symbol and just have that image to draw upon all the time. The ability to have that image and that connection with the symbol to hold on to will help them just continue to have hope and support and give them strength to draw upon while they're going through their experience with cancer.
So many people will tell you hope is impossible. It's impossible to get better from a really serious cancer. It's, you hear, oh, that can't be done. Well, it can be done. We just can't. We don't yet. I have no doubt that there will sometime be a time that we can measure things like hope. We just don't know how to do it yet.
When I was first diagnosed, I had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. There's hope for them that cancer doesn't have to be something that's life-threatening all the time. It's going to be more of a chronic disease rather than a life-ending disease. That's what you want. That's what makes this all worthwhile, is having hope for them in the future, that they don't have to deal with cancer in their lifetime. There's going to be an end to it.